so you can play.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Warhammer 40k Battle Report. As always, my name is Jay, and it's a Warhammer 40k League Battle Report. That's why there are two people here. As always, I am joined by
John
and
Neil.
John and Neil. I'm glad we were able to fit John in the shot, because who did you play last game?
Sorry, I don't remember his name. Trevor, was it?
Trevor, yeah. And Trevor's like this tall on me, and it was fun. We were like, to get really wide shot, but it's okay. Sorry, Trevor, you're shorter than us. If he's watching, he might not be watching. So once again, it's a Warhammer 40k game. How many points are you guys playing?
1,500.
1,500? That's cool. What armies?
Demons and Chaos Space Marines.
Cool. And?
My Adepta Sororitas.
Adepta Sororitas.
Inquisitors.
With Inquisitors?
Yeah, a couple of Inquisitors.
Cotias?
Yep.
Gotta bring Cotias. 100 points. He's just awesome.
Why not, hey?
Is there St. Celestine?
Yeah, she's there again.
That's cool. She gets knocked down, she gets up again, and then she gets knocked down again, she's gone. So that's the new Chumbawamba song for her. Cool. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. We haven't seen our deployment type or game type yet. Any predictions of this game?
Stuff will die.
Interesting.
I've been warned by the peanut gallery that Adepta Sororitas might die. Now, if this happens, is a particular someone going to have to walk home?
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, very cool stuff. So without further ado, we'll get to the armies and the deployment.
And so we'll start off with the Chaos Demons army. For a full list and details, please check out our pre-game show. But as you can see, it's led by the Great Unclean One. There's some cultists and a lot of demons and a soul grinder, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then here are the Adepta Sororitas, formerly Sisters of Battle. As you can see, once again, a lot of troops led by St. Celestine, and she has a couple Inquisitions, including Cotias, a couple Rhinos, a couple Emulators, 3 Exorcist tanks, which they're awesome, and an Aegis defense line with a quad gun. So both sides, there's going to be a lot of fun because both sides have reinforcements. So they roll to see what game type it is, and it's 5. Emperor's Will, so 1 objective in each deployment zone. And Vanguard Strike for deployment, then they roll for night fighting, and no night fighting. Then they roll to see who goes first. John wins, and he decides that he is going to go second. Okay, so here's what the board looks like after deployment. The demons have lined up along their line. Here they are. A lot of them are on the pads, and yeah, they're just cuddled over there for some reason. And on the other side, Adepta Sororitas along the Aegis defense line, tanks around. Everyone's on the board minus St. Celestine, who is going to be deep striking, so that's really cool. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the game. So before the game starts, John starts by putting in his portal that he purchased, and it lands right there, and basically demons can jump out. And then the Adepta Sororitas decide to scout move. This is all before seizing the initiative. And so he just moves up to get a better line of sight at the demons now that he knows exactly where they are, and to close the gap. And he tries to seize, and he rolls a 6, but I think he rejected the seize. He didn't want to actually seize. So now it's Adepta Sororitas turn 1. So Cotias begins by casting Prescience on the Exorcist, and then the Dominion Squad casts Faith, and it goes off. Faith is different now. You have to roll a leadership check, and you get a limited number of Faith points per game, as opposed to the old Codex, where it was on a dice roll of either 4, 5, or 6, depending on the situation, and you get unlimited times, and he starts firing at the demons. Now, these demons are going to be pretty hard to kill, since they have a 4-up invul, being on the pad, and they get to reroll 1s, I believe, so it makes them pretty hard to kill. He gets a few wounds. So then John rolls all of his saves, but he gets to reroll 1s, as you can see here. And in the end, he only loses about 4 of them. So there's not that many. These pink horrors are going to be a lot of fun, especially with their psychic shooting power. The Twin-Linked Exorcist also gets 3 shots and focuses on the Great Unclean One, and actually manages to get a wound. However, he has like 7 wounds, and he has It Will Not Die, so it's pretty scary. Then the other Exorcist shoots at him, gets 3 shots as well, gets 1 wound, but he passes his cover save, and now it's Chaos Demons turn 1. So John begins by trying to see if his portal works. A 4+ it works, and he rolls a 4+. That's great. So he gets D6 demons coming out of it, and gets 3 demons. And then they go, right under the objective. It's a good spot for the portal. Then he does Iron Arm on his Great Unclean One, and it goes off. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 51. 52. 53. 54. 55. 56. 57. 58. 59. 60. 61. 62. 63. 64. 65. 66. 67. 68. 69. 70. 71. 72. 73. 74. 75. 76. 77. 78. 79. 80. 81. 82. 83. 84. 85. 86. 87. 88. 89. 90. 91. 92. 93. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. 99. 100. 101. 102. 103. 104. 105. 106. 107. 108. 109. 110. 111. 112. 113. 114. 115. 116. 117. 118. 119. And then he just moves up his demons. He does run at the same time just to save a little bit of time. So they move up. The bloodletters move up, and then they run 3 inches, so it's a 9-inch movement. And that's just that way it saves a little time, and basically they're going to run up and hopefully close the gap. They're meant to be in close combat. They don't have any shooting, so they got to get up into your opponent's face. So then the Soul Grinder also decides to move through the terrain, and then I think he also tries to run him as well. So he's moved through cover, so he gets 4 inches. And then he runs an additional 4, so 8 inches at the same time. Then he just moves up his demons, his pink horrors, since they got shot up last turn. And his cultists move up as well. And they have a lord on a bike attached. He is an HQ, so he's going to try to jump up and assault. He only has a distance of about 4 inches, so he's pretty confident that he can make the distance at the time. Green Cleveland tries to Grimoire the blood letters, and it goes off. And then he also moves up 6 inches. So 3 down and 3 up. 3 forward, I mean. And right now, John's goal is to get First Blood. First Blood is very important in the Emperor's Will. Very important. Secondary objectives become increasingly important because it's very hard to get to your opponent's objective in a scenario like this. And therefore, secondaries become increasingly important. And he rolls in the Book of Demons, and it's the anti-Zinch one. It doesn't do anything to his guys, and he keeps rolling. See, on a 6, basically they get shot at from some demon power, and no 6s are rolled, except for that 1 tank, but it can't actually hurt it, so nothing happens there. And then they try to do the Psychic Demon shooting power at the tank. He gets denied twice, because it's a 5-up deny the witch, so nothing happens there. And then they try to assault with the Lord on a bike.
So after 1 turn,
fails.
here's what the battlefield looks like. It wasn't even night fighting. Nothing happened.
Everyone will die.
Oh, fine. Well, it will not die.
Yeah, all right.
And it will not die. So after 1 turn, here's what the battlefield looks like. Demon Prince is back to full strength and it's hiding over there. Not Demon Prince, Greater and Clean One. And yeah, some pink horrors died.
Yeah, 4 of them.
And that's it. So we'll see what happens in turn 2.
So now it's Adepta Sororitas, turn 2. So St. Celestine drop pods in. Or not drop pods, she just deep strikes in and lands exactly what they want. And then she tries to cast Psychic Power on the tank and Perils, and then he tries to cast the other Prescience power on the tanks and Perils again, but this time it goes off. So each of the Psychers lost a wound, and one of the Exorcists, it's actually a squad of Exorcists, sorry, is twin linked. That's why they only roll 1s for each one. And then the Emulator moves up, and the Dominion squad pops out. As you can see, it has a lot of Melta shots coming their way. And then the other Dominion squad pops out, and they're going to hopefully flame and destroy as many cultists and perhaps that Lord. Right now, once again, the goal is to get First Blood. You really want to get First Blood. And so he starts shooting and flames the cultists, and they lose a whole bunch of cultists. Then they flame the other cultists. Now, all these wounds are going to end up going on the Lord because he's the closest anyway. But he tries to flame as many of the cultists as possible, and only needs 3s to kill, or at least force the saves on the Lord. And the Lord can't look out Sir anymore, or he tries to look out Sir originally, but then he runs out of guys that are too close. Fails 2 out of his first 3, and then passes the next ones. And then finally fails. So the Lord is killed, and that is First Blood for the Adepta Sororitas. And then they lose a few more cultists, so they're going to have to do a leadership check later. And the shooting continues. So once again, 3s to hit. 4s to wound, and failed, and he passes all his armor saves. So the next Exorcist fires at the Soul Grinder. They are twin linked because of prescience, and you get 1 glance. He rolls his 5-up invul and passes it, so nothing happens there. Then he once again shoots at the pink horrors. Needs 2s to wound with the Exorcist. Oh, sorry, this is the quad gun with the Dominion squad attached to it. And gets a bunch of wounds. And he only rolls 1-1, unfortunately, reroll, and he fails that one too. So he loses a good chunk of his pink horrors right then and there. Luckily, they're fearless. And only gets 2 shots with his last exorcist. And he calls out the Demon Prince again. Or sorry, it's 5 shots. And only 1 wound. And he passes his cover save, so he's okay. So then now it's Chaos Demons, turn 2. So he starts by rolling for his Obliterators. And they come in. And they D-strike and land perfectly there. Luckily they didn't mishap, that would have been brutal. And he casts Iron Arm, goes off, and Enfeeble. And Enfeeble goes off as well. And Iron Arm gets a 2. And he Grimoires his Bloodletters again. And it goes off again. So they have a 3-up invul as opposed, or 2-up invul as opposed to a, 3-up invul, yeah. Next, those cultists move up. They did pass their leadership check last turn, so they're okay. And the Bloodletters once again advance. They have a Blood Crusher attached to it, a Lord on a Blood Crusher, but that's it's going to take them a long time to get in close combat because it's such a far distance. They're going to hopefully assault and destroy St. Celestine this turn, but we'll have to see. And the Pink Horrors just move around on the pad, and the Great Unclean One advances slightly. And now it's 6, so it's the anti-Zinch one once again, or the anti-Corn one. So once again, he rolls for his guys. Nothing happens to any of his demons for the shooting. Then he rolls for each squad that is unengaged of Niall's. So the Dominion squad gets hit, and they get 4 wounds, or it's 4 wounds. It's AP 4, or sorry, AP 2. So it goes through them, and then he fails 2 of his invuls. So 2 of the Dominion squad is dead. And then it hits the next target, hits 5 times. He hits his 4-ups, fails 2 of them. So that hit the priest right behind the tank, and it kills him. So the demons are finally starting to get some blood, and they start shooting at St. Celestine. But she passes all of her armor saves, and then they fire at the Dominion squad. Nothing there. Then he casts his 2 psychic powers from the Pink Horrors. And both get denied. Oh, sorry, one gets denied again, so it's 3d6 number of shots. He rolls on a 16. That's a lot of shots. 4 is to hit with his demon power. He gets a lot of hits. 5's to glance, 6's to pen, and actually gets 3 6s. And he fails his invul, and it blows up 3 inches. So that tank is gone now, the emulator. And it doesn't wound any of the Dominions. Then they fire at the next tank. It's a 4-up cover for being behind the defense line. One gets through, and it also explodes again. That's crazy. So now the other exorcist is gone as well. The Soul Grinder tries to assault St. Celestine and rolls Snake Eyes. So he rerolls because he has Fleet, luckily, and gets 8 inches, which is just enough to get him into the combat with St. Celestine. And then the Bloodletters, I believe, stay where they are. And then the cultists get their Overwatch, so then they get hit with Bolter Fire. But the worst problem is all of them have Flamers. So you'll see how many lose because all these flamers, he rolls all those hits and ends up killing about half the squad due to all the flamers in that squad overwatching. So that tiny amount of cultists charge in, they roll their distance, and they manage to get in. And then Great Unclean One tries to assault and can't get in the distance. So now the St. Celestine combat, Soul Grinder gets to go first because St. Celestine can't hurt it. He fails his invul and his instant kill, so St. Celestine will probably get up next turn. So no Slay the Warlord yet. To the cultist Dominion squad combat. This is going to go on forever, and nothing happens whatsoever. So after 1 turn, First Blood has been drawn on a Lord. That was crazy. That was crazy. And then after that, Sisters have taken some casualties. These 3 Dominion squad members are teaching this Great Unclean One a lesson. Well, like, we deny you, and then we're okay, and then you're not getting close to us, so it's all good. And after that, tanks have exploded here, tanks have exploded there, but there's still a lot of game left, and we're going to turn 3. This is a tough mission. We'll see what happens in turn 3 again. No. So now it's Adepta Sororitas, turn 3. Once again, he does leadership check, so St. Celestine comes back, and she's going to be right there, and then the other Faith goes off. Tries to cast Faith with the Dominion squad, and passes as well. And then cast Prescience on the tank, and it goes off as well. So one tank will have rerolls hit from Cotiez. Prescience is really nasty when combined with Exorcist tanks. Exorcist moves up, once again to get better shots of the demons, and he's going to try to kill those Obliterators this turn. with the sisters. The Dominion squad is going to turn around and just light up those, and light up the obliterators. So St. Celestine moves up and flames the bloodletters. Needs 2s to wound. It's a lot of wounds. John rolls all of his invols and fails 3, so 3 are dead. Exorcist gets to fire 5 shots at the Soul Grinder. Right now he's worried about the Soul Grinder because if the Soul Grinder can cross in past his barrier, it'd be very deadly. Once again, he gets a glance. John fails his invol, so 1 hull point off it. Then he tries to fire at the next Exorcist. 4 shots, which he gets 3 hits, but no glances or anything. Quad gun at the Bloodletters. And as well as that rest of the squad. Only has 2 misses, not much at all with the sisters. They have because the Warlord is Kotiaz, they do have preferred enemy against demons, which is really nasty. So they have to reroll 1s for that squad. I forgot to mention that in the first turn. And the rest of the fire, once again, a lot of hits. He rolls all of his saves and fails 6. So 6 bloodletters are killed. That is a huge destruction. And then they fire at the obliterators, the ones who just came in. Managed to get a few wounds. John rolls the saves and fails 2 invols. And then rolls his 2-up armor save. So or last one. So there's 1 left. He rolls leadership check and I believe fails. I could be wrong. 1 was cocked, so he rolls it and he fails. And he rolls how far? And he runs 8 inches off the board. That's pretty crazy. So then St. Celestine declares her assault on the Blood Crusher, and I think there's a challenge. They accepted it. She goes first, gets 1 wound. He rolls his 3-up invol, and it's okay. He hits back. All of his hits hit, but it's toughness 3, so it's 2s to wound, but I don't think it goes through her armor. So 4 wounds, but goes through her armor. Nothing through her armor. Nothing, and so nothing happens there. So the cultist Dominion squad again. Dominion squad goes first. Gets 1 wound, but he fails. And then the cultists go, and guess what? They get 1 wound on him. So tied combat once again. Nothing there. And now it's Chaos Demons, turn 3. Once again, he tries to use the warp portal. Doesn't go off. Iron Arm goes off, +3. So that Great Unclean One is just nasty. He perils with his pink horror leader, so it dies. Or one of them dies, and then moves up his Demon Prince. So he rolls in the book for shooting. It's 8, so he rolls for all of his opponent's units. 6 is a hit. It doesn't do anything to it. And then the rest of them, he rolls for the rest of the units. So on a 6, they get hit with a shooting attack. So it's the closest one. And ends up doing 1 rend and 4 other wounds. He rolls his armor saves. And they're all good. And then it was rend, and it fails. So 1 of them dies due to the psychic demon shooting attack. Then tries to cast his other shooting attack. 1 of them gets denied. 1 of them gets denied, and 1 of them doesn't go off. Moves up his Soul Grinder. Demon Prince jumps into close combat. And gets a wound. Demon Prince then hits. And as you can see, he tries to squish St. Celestine. And St. Celestine is instant killed by the Great Unclean. But once again, St. Celestine is not the Warlord. Kotiaz is. So it's no say the Warlord yet. So the score is still 1-0 for Adepta Sororitas. They consolidate. Back to the other combat, in which nothing happens. Dominion squad gets to go first. Need 4s to wound the cultists. And get 1 wound. He passes his armor save. Then they hit back. And get 1 wound. And he passes his armor save. So nothing happens.
After 3 turns, here's what the battlefield looks like. Basically, this combat, if this combat is over by the end of the game, I'm surprised. Let's just say that. Demons are moving up. They got to get Linebreaker. They got to go for his Warlord because there's a tank right here. There's Dominion squad right here.
If these guys ever don't
They
well.
are being denied. This Dominion squad, the word of the day is deny.
Deny the witch, yeah.
Deny the witch. 3 words, but the word of the day is deny the witch. 1 word. And yeah, and then they're holding strong over there. So we'll see what happens in turn 4.
So now it's Adepta Sororitas, turn 4. So he gets his wound back. Dude will not die, so he's now full of strength again with 7 wounds. That's at the end of that. So then Sororitas, Psychic Power goes off, Prescience goes off, and they cast Faith, and that also goes off. So now the Exorcists move up, the other tank moves up, once again to get better shots off, and now that those Obliterators are dead, the tank will move up as well, and the Dominion squad will hop into it. That way they can go travel around the board and hopefully kill the Pink Horrors later. So the Exorcist starts shooting at the Soul Grinder. He's able to get a pen, but Soul Grinder gets his cover save, and he gets it off. Oh, sorry, Pat. So, and then he fires that with the Exorcist. And right now he really wants to kill that Soul Grinder. This is the one that's twin linked. It's all 4 hits, 5s to Gland, 6s to Pen against the Soul Grinder, and he gets 3 pens miraculously. Soul Grinder gets his invul save, fails all 3, and then they roll to see if it explodes, and it does. So the Soul Grinder is dead. That's a crazy occurrence. So then they decide there's not much left to fire at. So they start firing at the Blood Letters, and then the Pink Horrors. There's not much left, so the quad gun and the squad are going to fire at the Pink Horrors. All the shots at them, they get to reroll 1s because of preferred enemy against demons, and then 2s to wound. A lot of wounds. So John rolls all his 4+. He gets to reroll 1s because there's Tzeentch, and he loses another good chunk of the Pink Horrors. Then they just keep firing at them. And back to the Dominion combat with the cultists. The Dominion squad gets to go first. They need 4s to wound, get 1 wound, and John fails. Then John hits back and kills 1. So it's a tied combat again, and nothing happens there. So now it's Chaos Demons, turn 4. Tries his portal, which doesn't work. He grimoires, and that goes off. Casts a Psychic Power Iron Arm, +1 to this Demon Prince, and then the other guys move up. They also pass their Psychic Power. And he decides to keep them a little back, keep them out of fire's reach, because now he's pretty much out of range of the heavy bolters, the Dominion squad. And then he decides that he's going to go assault that tank. So all the Blooders and the Blood Crusher run up to go assault the Rhino. And so is the Great Ugly one. So then it's the anti-Tzeentch one. So he rolls for each Tzeentch unit. Nothing happens there. And then all the units that he can hurt in the opponents, which is basically just the infantry. He can't hurt the tanks with the strength of it. So then he gets his 3d6 number of shots with the Psychic Power. It's not denied. He gets a bunch of hits. Few wounds. He rolls 6+ invuls. Oh, sorry, this is on the tank. 6+ invul on the tank. And it will be destroyed by shooting. This is the one with the Dominion squad in it, but it doesn't explode. They pass their pinning checks. They're okay. And then the other Psychic Power shoots at the guys that are out of the tank. 2d6 Psychic Power. And they hit on 4s, wounding on 2s, so 3 wounds there. He rolls his armor saves. And fails a few of them. So the whole squad is gone. And then he rolls his distance to assault the tank and gets it. Blood Crusher gets to go first. And glances it. And then the rest of them get to go. Well, he got his Hammer Wrath, and then he gets to go as well. What's 1 glance? No invul passed. So then the other guys get to try to glance it to death as well. Then he 5s and 6s. He rolls his invuls, fails them both. And the rest of the attacks as well. And the tank is destroyed. It blows up. They roll to see if it hurts the guys. And it doesn't really hurt anybody. And then the Dominion squad kills one cultist. Cultist squad gets hit back. Gets 1 wound on the Dominion squad. And he fails 2, so each squad kills 1 once again, and it's a tied combat. So after 4 turns, this is what the battlefield looks like. So right now, the game is really close, because right now, the score is 1-0. Each of them could get to their objectives this turn. Sister Adepta Sororitas have first blood, and so the game is very close, like all of their Emperor's Will games, and we'll see what happens in turn. And now it's Adepta Sororitas, turn 5. There is not much left to shoot at, so they cast Faith. Prescience on the tank goes off. Exorcist moves up. and the other tank decides to move up, they drop their cargo right on top of the objective so that they can score their own objective. Exorcist roll 6 and a 5, so there's going to be a lot of shooting. So they start firing at the Bloodletters with the Exorcist tanks. This is the twin-linked ones. They get a lot of shots. And then he has 3-up invols, and actually fails 2 of his 3-up invols. So 2 Bloodletters die due to the Exorcist, which is pretty heavy. Then they fire the Bloodletters again. And they pass both their invols, they're okay. Fires once again at the Bloodletters. 3s to hit. 2s to wound, and then keeps repeating this process over and over again with all the other fire, the heavy bolters, and the quad gun as well. Because since they're basically right now the only thing that sisters can actually fire at and kill. And he fails more saves, so it's just down to 2 more Bloodletters and the Blood Crusher. Back to the Cultist Dominion close combat. Cultists go, and they actually end up killing 2 of the Dominion squad, and the Dominion squad completely whiffed. And it was pretty crazy, so they won combat, and they get to move, and that's cool. And now it's Chaos Demons turn 5. Borglift still doesn't work. And he goes Psychic Powers, goes off, and he gets an extra 2. Moves up his demons so that they can score his objective. Since it's turn 5, you really want to score it. And right now, John is just trying to get a draw, which means he has to get Linebreaker or Slay the Warlord. Kotias is pretty far away, so he's going to try to get Linebreaker by running up his guys. And so the goal is just run them up, get the cultists up into this deployment zone, and get Linebreaker, because that would end up being a draw if the game ends this turn. And hopefully the game continues for John. Neil really wants the game to end. Neil wants the game to continue so that he can hopefully prevent the demons from getting Linebreaker and win the game. So the Blood Crusher jumps the line, gets Linebreaker, and doesn't do anything to the tank. And then with the Hammer Wrath, and the rest of the attacks, just one glance, gets his invul and fails, so the tank is still good. So after 5 turns, here's what the board looks like right now. The score is a tie,
4-4.
which is what we want. We love ties in Warhammer 40k, and that's what we're going for. So we'll see what happens. So right now, the score, they have the demons. They have that objective. Adepta Sororitas have that objective. Adepta Sororitas have First Blood. Demons have Linebreaker. So one of you gets to roll right now and see if the game ends. Now the question is, do you want the game to continue or end? Because he rolls low, you roll high, so you choose.
Continue.
You want the game to continue? Okay, you roll 1 or 2. Game ends. 3, 4. It's a 4. A 5 or 6 can also continue, but still. And we'll see what happens in turn. So now it's Adepta Sororitas, turn 6. Now the game continues. Once again, cast Prescience. Goes off. Faith. Fails. And the Exorcist moves up. And it's not immobilized, so it can keep going. And the other Rhino, sorry, is not immobilized either, and keep going. And now that tank just wants to get out of there, leave the Blood Crusher, and then hopefully he can kill the Blood Crusher and prevent Linebreaker. That way he wins. It'll be a score of 4-3. So he starts shooting. And John fails 2 of his invols. He gets to reroll 1s, though. And he fails. It was 4s to wound. Oh, sorry, 4 plus demon save. And then he continues the firing. Right now he just wants to kill it, so the Dominion squad fires at the Blood Crusher. Bunch of hits. A few wounds. And so John rolls his 3... Oh, so then it's 3 to wound with the other shots. And John rolls and fails several. And he needs to make 4 ups. And Blood Crusher is killed. I think he had a 4-up, feel no pain. So he's dead. And Blood Crusher is dead, and Linebreaker is gone. So Neil has prevented Linebreaker, but of course John can run more guys in next turn. Now Demons turn 6. Iron Arm goes off, +3. And then he tries to cast Enfeeble. It goes off, and it's not denied on the Dominion squad. And then the Portal finally works, and 4 Demons pop out. Then he just moves up his guys once again to get Linebreaker. He jumps his leader of the Pink Horrors out. Of course, he'll just run because he's just right now just trying to get Linebreaker and keep the game going. And he does. So then the Demon Book thing again goes off. It's a 6 again, anti-Zinch, and it hits his leader guy. Gets 1 wound, and he only has 1 wound left. And wounds. 5 up, rerolling 1s, and it kills him. So that dude alone is killed by the book power. And the other ones don't go off. Then he rolls for the other guys, for Niall's guys, and they're all safe. Doesn't do anything. Then he tries to cast Hemorrhage. Goes off. Not denied. So now it is a Focus Witchfire. He needs to roll a Toughness test, and he fails the first one. So the first guy is dead, other than, in fact, he has to roll a 6-up invul. One guy dies. Then the next guy passes his Toughness test, so he's okay, because they were Toughness 2 due to the Enfeeble Hemorrhage combination. And then declares the assaults. Overwatch from the Dominion squad with heavy bolters. Gets 1 hit. Then the Melta misses. And then the rest of the pistol shots miss. And then wounds with the heavy bolter. And kills the cultist. They roll their distance, 8 inches, which is plenty. And then the other guy gets 8 inches. And then the Demon Prince does not get in. So then close combats. Kills 1. Junk is 1. Sorry, of the Dominion guys with the bloodletters. And then they hit back. They need 4s to hit and don't hit anything, so they lose. And so they get 1 hit, and then they're hitting on the cultists, so they need 5s to wound. They get nothing, so then he rolls his armor saves, or sorry, the rest of the hits, and he passes his armor save with the cultist from the cultist attacks. So they won combat, and the demons catch the sisters. So essentially, he is caught. So the Dominion squad is removed from play, and the bloodletters and cultists consolidate into the objectives to get Linebreaker again. Alright, so after 6 turns, here's what the battlefield looks like. Right now, it's again a draw, because the dude who had Linebreaker got killed, and then more dudes just like, we're filling his spot. And that's essentially what happened this turn. So we'll see what happens. Once again, Niall gets to roll. 4 up, the game continues. Yay! And that's game. So hearty handshake, and it is, and it is a draw. So thank you very much for watching this battle report. And if you'd like to see another awesome 40k League battle report, click on the link below for a free 7-day trial to the MiniWarGaming Vault. Not only will you get access to this battle report, but you'll also get to see many other battle reports, as well as just some really awesome wargaming content. So until next time, this is Jay saying, happy wargaming, everyone.